And it is the second week of the Synod on Synodality in Rome, and hundreds of participants are gathering every day to discuss how to improve the Church's mission. Bishops, religious, and lay people from across the globe are expressing their ideas in the General Assembly. Recently, they were divided into smaller study groups to discuss particular issues, and they are set to tackle a wide range of issues. Joining us now from Rome is Jonathan Liedl, senior editor for the National Catholic Register. Jonathan, great to have you back. We are almost halfway through the second part of the Synod on Synodality. What are some of the pressing issues that are being discussed, and what stands out the most to you so far?
Yeah, Tracy, you're exactly right. We're halfway through this process, going through the Instrumentum Laboris. Some of the topics that have come up inside the Paul VI Hall include how to increase collaboration between laity and the clergy, how also to get lay people, and especially lay women, in more positions of church leadership that don't require ordination. But actually, at a recent press conference, Synod organizers shared that the speech, the topic that got the most applause from inside the Synod Hall was when a delegate, a mother, a laywoman, stood up and she expressed her concern that not enough is being talked about Christian initiation for young children. So how to welcome young children, including her own, into the faith. So that just gives you a sense of some of the issues and some of the topics currently being discussed here in Rome.
Yeah, and Jonathan, we know after last year's session, Pope Francis took controversial topics off this year's agenda and instead assigned them to separate study groups. What's the status of that?
That's right, Tracy. Pope Francis created these 10 study groups to look at controversial issues like the possibility of women deacons or how to discern controversial issues related to sexuality. He created these groups really with the intention of providing more in-depth study to them and then also allowing the Synod meetings to focus more on questions of participation and mission. At the beginning of this year's session on October 2nd, the groups did present to the wider assembly on the status of their work. And so, for instance, Cardinal Fernandez, who is the head of the Dicastery for the Doctrine of the Faith, he presented on the group on looking at the possibility of women deacons. He said the question was not mature right now. It wasn't the time to move forward on that, or the door was currently not open. But even though these issues have been moved to the sides and these study groups are meant to not distract from the Synod, they've kind of become almost one of the main topics at the Synod on Synodality. Some delegates have expressed concerns about maybe not clarity on how they work or who is running them, and also have expressed the desire to be able to contribute and interact with the experts in these study groups. So Synod organizers took that into account. They've emphasized that the study group should not be seen as completely separate from the Synod, and in fact, participants will be able to meet with the people leading these groups later on this month. And in fact, Tracy, all Catholics across the world will have the opportunity to share their contributions via email sent to Synod organizers on these controversial issues being discussed in study groups.
And Jonathan, before I let you go, any other takeaways?
Yeah, well, one thing to point out, Tracy, is that there's a lot of media coverage about so-called women's ordination. But from my conversations with delegates inside the Synod Hall, the noise outside doesn't match the reality inside. It's not a dominant topic of conversation among delegates. In fact, Bishop Anthony Randazzo, an Australian who's president of the Oceania Bishops Federation, he said that this issue is an obsession among a small minority of powerful Western voices, and it actually detracts from the real needs and concerns of women. So a very powerful statement there.
All right, Jonathan, thank you so much for weighing in. Always appreciate it. God bless.